now turn up.
What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. We do daily Dynasty videos. We're going to be doing the biggest risers. So we have a couple different risers here, but I'm just going through average draft position of startup leagues here. What are some guys that are rising up? We're going to be doing some followers here soon too, but we're going to be doing some, who are the risers? One of the biggest risers lately, and it kind of makes sense because the Dynasty community, including myself, have been on the train of this player, and this is Antonio Gibson. He's moved from lower teens to upper teens. We were talking about RB13 right now, and I could see him go into that like RB10 range when it comes down to the end of the summer here. Antonio Gibson is the guy who, he has everything that you want. He's a pass catcher. He comes out of Memphis along with Kenneth Gainwell. He is a guy who 795 yards, 11 touchdowns. We're talking RB 14, not even in a full season. He only started 10 games. People can see the opportunity because J.D. McKissick is there, but there's not much else there in the backfield to compete with Antonio Gibson. He is 6'2", 220 pounds. He is a freak athlete, and he just has every single tool that you would want in the Washington football team. They need an actual name for that franchise, but Washington football team for round 2, I guess you could say. So Gibson being RB13, he was lower teens, now he's up into RB13, and I could still see him rising more in the next couple weeks. It would make sense to that happening, and I have him up there as well. He is, the more I look into it, the more, the biggest knock on him was collegiate production. He was just not, and collegiate, I guess you could say collegiate opposition. Memphis doesn't have teams that play super high competition. And Antonio Gibson did not, he had more rushes in the NFL than he did in his college, in any college season, which is kind of incredible. He kind of has like the Kamara type to him. So let's go into these are a couple rookies that have been just shooting up. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, it was all about rookie hype, and one of them is Kyle Pitts, because he is now tight end 3 overall in Dynasty. He went from tight end 7'6", now he's all the way up into the tight end 3 in Dynasty. And although I understand the argument for it, there is a huge risk for somebody who has never stepped on the field. We all kind of we thought that Saquon Barkley was going to be amazing, and Saquon Barkley's hype was incredible, but even that, he has not lived up to that. The Saquon probably hasn't lived up to the hype, except for maybe that 1 year, and now maybe you even see Barkley's kind of value starting to dip or go back into kind of this pack of running backs. I feel like Kyle Pitts is being so widely overvalued at this point. Not overvalued, I guess. So widely valued at this point that it's going to be almost impossible to get him unless you draft him 3rd overall in 1 QB leagues, 2nd overall in 1 QB leagues, or if you're drafting him probably 4, 5, 6, maybe even higher, a little bit higher in Superflex leagues, because people see this guy that is a unicorn meaning something that they've never seen before, and we don't know how it translates to the NFL. We see the college production, and we see all the attributes that could be for Kyle Pitts, but we just don't know how that's going to translate to the NFL. And they gave away Julio, so you're thinking, well, they got Ridley, they got who else do they have? They don't have like a full depth of. I think they have Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst really gonna compete with him? No. Why am I blanking on the second wide receiver? I'm blanking on the second wide receiver, which I shouldn't be blanking on because I had him on my Dynasty team. Whatever. Why is it? I'll figure it out after this video is over with. But I can't think of his name. It's not Ward. All right, anyways, so Kyle Pitts, tight end number 3 in Dynasties, just moving on up. The other couple rookies here, and we're going to go through non-rookies after these two players. It's Sermon and it's Michael Carter, RB32, RB33. Not surprising, they're moving from the end. They're probably moving 5, 6, 7 positions of running backs. You're going to probably hear camp hype, and we're probably going to move into the mid-20s. Like, you're going to see them around the David Montgomery. You might even see them like a couple spots below Josh Jacobs, which is, I don't know. I don't get it, but that's just me. I understand that Michael Carter has the opportunity, but talent-wise, is he up there into the top 25 running backs? Like, I don't think so. I think he's a really good beta to somebody's alpha, probably coming in 2022. We'll find out who that is. Trey Sermon, on the other hand, I mean, I like Elijah Mitchell. I still like Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson, if he comes back from injury healthy, is still a problem in that backfield. It's going to be a mess in San Francisco, I feel like. And anybody that steps on the field in San Francisco always can get hurt. I feel like that team is just cursed. I mean, think about who has been healthy on that field, on that offense. I mean, you're talking quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Like, every position has been decimated with the 49ers. And I don't know if that's just like a curse or something, but right now that is the problem there. So 32, 33, they're moving on up, and I could see them in the high to mid 20s at the end of summer. It's again why I almost would rather, if I have these players, I'm just gonna sell them probably before they even touch the field, because then all of a sudden you're gonna be disappointed when Raheem Mostert starts off the season with 5 straight really good games, and you're going to be like, well, this sucks. Or you're going to have to wait till he gets injured and stuff. So the next one is going to be Chase Edmonds, and he's in that mid-20s. I would rather have him than the Trey Sermon types, than the Michael Carter types. But he's in the mid-20s, and he's moving up because, of course, Arizona didn't draft a running back. And that is the big key. When a team, doesn't invest in, I mean, they have James Conner there. And I think it's just going to be this mess, a little bit of a mess there. James Conner, I've been I've been down on him always in his career. I feel like James Conner is A, always hurt, and B, not as talented as people, as they kind of project out to be. I think people always think he's more talented than he was. I think he's a really good not really good. I think he's just a fine guy that can be a powerful running back that can just soak up some carries and get you 4 yards a carry. He's not going to be elusive, amazing, or anything like that by any means. But James Conner is a okay running back. Fine, probably a 20 to 25 talented running back when healthy. He's probably past that now. He's probably in his he's in the 30s for most talented running back. Chase Edmonds arguably could be more talented than James Conner. I think this is just going to be kind of a back and forth. You might even see Chase Edmonds, unfortunately, in the passing game more, and you're going to see Chase Edmonds. Yeah, Chase Edmonds and James Conner. You could see him stealing all these goal line touchdowns, and Kyler Murray stealing all these goal line touchdowns, and it just being a mess in the backfield. But I'm just telling you who is rising is Chase Edmonds, and I'd rather have him over these 2 rookie running backs. So the last one is Tua, and he has gone from the mid-20s to quarterback 17. Now, Tua, I'm kind of having an issue with. I loved when he was 22, 23. That was an awesome value there, because I felt like I could really skyrocket on him, because I knew he was going to get a wide receiver in the draft. He got Will Fuller, and even though Will Fuller's going to have to start out part of the year, he still has Gesicki. We kind of knew those things, and nothing we projected didn't happen, I guess you could say. Everything we projected happened. So we knew what was going to happen, but Tua is now in the area of 17, which is right by Stafford. Actually, Stafford's right behind him. Baker's in there, and Tannehill's in there. And if I look at those quarterbacks, it's really, really hard to determine what I would rather have. I mean, he's right. I can't see him go any further. If he does, then we're going to have a problem, because he's right in the tier, Tua is all about youth. Are you rebuilding? If you're rebuilding, then you're going to want a Tua Tagovailoa. If you're not rebuilding, if you are competing, then Ryan Tannehill, I would rather have hands down. Even a Baker Mayfield, I feel like who's the number 1 overall pick, Baker. I would rather have him than Tua, and they're right back to back, 16 and 17 in most ADPs. So it's I liked Tua when he was 22, because then I could get him super cheap as a really good flyer. And you look at his stats, and it's not bad stats. I feel like he just had a really interesting year with Ryan Fitzpatrick there. I mean, they were taking him out, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick would start, and then Tua would come in. It was just a mess in Miami. And I'm going to blame that all on Adam Gase. Adam Gase leaves, and good things happen. And you've heard that probably in 8 million other fantasy podcasts as well, but that is what happens. So again, Tua is moving up, and to 17, that's quite a big jump. I mean, you're talking six positions in quarterbacks. That's a big jump into a different tier now. He used to be in a lower tier, now he's up into a tier that I kind of already had him in, just depending if you're rebuilding or competing. So that is the biggest Dynasty Fantasy risers. We're going to do some fallers here, and there's some people that are kind of falling off the map a little bit. Doesn't mean that they should, it just means that they are. Big difference. But this is Marcus Dynasty Full Dads. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Now turn up.